Commission inakumana kumasanaku ndipo inapanga chiganizo malingana ndi malamulo kuti tionjezere nthawi yoponya voti kumeneko. Pachifukwa cha chimenechi kuponya voti ku malo kumeneko kupitirira mpaka 8 o'clock usiku uno kuti anthu akumeneko onse amene analembetsa akhale ndi mpata wokwanira kuti apite akaponye voti yawo. Pachifukwa cha chimenechi tikupempha komanso kumema anthu onse akudera limeneli amene sanakaponye voti yawo kuti apite ku polling station ndipo akaponye voti yawo chifukwa chokuti tsopano kuti ndi mtendere ena aponya kale voti pokhala kuti kutsegulako tinatsegulabe chakumasana kuja. Komanso titsimikizire kuti kuli chitetezo chokwanira choyamba komanso chachiwiri kuti ngakhale uli usiku tayika madongosolo kuti kukhale nyali zokwanira kuti anthu athe kuponya voti mosavutikira. Nkhani yachiwiri kunafunsidwa funso kuti kukalimbuka polling station kucholo kunachitidwa ripoti kuti anthu 486 anakanika kuponya voti. Pofufuza zinapezeka kuti polling station imeneyi inapanga ripoti kuti poyambirira zimaoneka kuti anthu amenewa sakupezeka mayina awo mkaundula wa pepala. Koma pokhala kuti timagwiritsa ntchito kaundula wa pepala komanso amene anali makina jatimanena kuti BVVID kuwafufuza anthu amenewa makina anapezeka ndipo powunikira kaundula wa papepala zinapezeka kuti poprinta kaundula wa papepala mapeji amenewa anachitidwa omiti. Ndiye zitalongosoka zonse timafuna tifotokoze kuti anthu amenewa onse akwanitsa kuponya voti chifukwa chokuti tinawonjezera nthawi kumeneku yoti anthu aponye voti kufika 6 koloko madzulo ndipo mene imafika 6 koloko nkuti anthu onsewa ataponya voti. Ndipo titsimikizire mtundu wa Malawi kuti anthu amenewa wina aliyense waponya voti komanso a district returning officer kumeneku atsimikizira zimenezi. Chachitatu komanso chomaliza ndichokuti ndikukhulupirira kuti mukaona mchipinda muno mukuona kuti kuma screen kwathu timapanga display dashboard imene ikuonetsa ma statistics osiyanasiyana. Tonse tikuzindikira kuti nsanamira zina zimene commission yayimapo malingana ndi strategic plan yathu yochoka 2023 mpaka 2028 nsanamira zimenezi ndi transparency ndi innovation. Ndipo pachifukwa cha chimenechi takhala tikuchita focus on digitization kuti zitithandizire kuti ntchito zathu tizitha kugwira moonekera pali ndipo taona kuti commission yapanga significant investments zimene zinakhazikidwa ma polling station monse ndipo zimenezi ndi mbali ya the election management system imene meki inakhazikitsa ndipo zimenezi zikutithandizira kuti tithe kupereka data yosiyanasiyana. Timafuna kuti titengepo nthawi madzulo pano kuti tiapatse mpata Director of ICT Mr. Ntingwi kuti athe kufotokozerera kuti tonse tiyende limodzi on how best to use and to understand the data that is being displayed. Tifotokozere mungotsindika kuti mafigures ena amene mukhale mukuona they are not final chifukwa chokuti pali ma polling station ena kumene ma device anavutirako anagwiritsa ntchito kwambiri the printed voters register. Ndiye tipemphe kuti mafigures otikamaona we should understand them from that premise. Allow me to also briefly speak in English. We are here this evening to give 2 quick updates and also to explain the dashboard that you have been seeing from the afternoon. Number one is the issue of Mpata School in Nkoloko Tindirande, Matope constituency, particularly polling station number 3, where we had the unfortunate incident. Some people burnt ballot papers following a misunderstanding that arose from a ballot paper that looked like it had already been marked. This was a misunderstanding because, as we explained in the afternoon, it was a smudge on the ballot paper, and certainly it was not pre-marked. Following that incident, we had to suspend voting temporarily to allow the issues to be resolved amicably, but also to restore order to ensure we are able to guarantee the safety of the voters coming to cast their vote, but also polling staff and materials. Following the resolution of the issue, polling resumed, and the Commission met this afternoon and resolved to extend voting to 8 p.m. in compliance with the law, but also to give an opportunity to all registered voters who may not have had opportunity to vote prior to the temporary suspension of voting until we opened sometime in the afternoon. We are encouraging all registered voters in this area who may not have had opportunity to go and cast their vote to do so now. The monitors present at the polling station have also been engaged to send messages to leaders and the community at large to show up. We are confident that by 8 a.m. those who intended to vote will do so. The Commission is assuring it, but also the nation, that we have provided, first of all, tight security to guarantee the safety of everyone, but also we are providing extra lighting at the polling station to enable people to vote in comfort and with ease. The second issue is about the report that we received that 486 voters had been unable to cast their vote, or they were failing. The report that we received is that the 486 voters had been omitted in the printed voters register. Thankfully, we're using the hybrid, both the device and the voters register. These 486 were successfully identified using the device, and the voters register was replaced with one that had complete pages. Their vote, and the district returning officer has duly confirmed this. The third issue is just to highlight the dashboard for display of voter turnout and other parameters that you would have been seeing from the afternoon. The nation may recall that two of our core values are transparency and innovation. And in line with these core values, the strategic plan for the Commission for the period 2023 to 2028 focuses on digitization as a tool for enhancing efficiency and transparency. By now, most of us would have seen the efforts and the investment that the Commission has made in technology, or to enhance transparency and efficiency in our processes. For purposes of this general election, the BVVID in the polling stations, which is part of the election management devices, is able to provide us with a disaggregated data on how Malawians have voted in this general election. Allow me, on behalf of the Commission, to emphasize that the figures that you're seeing are not final, because in other areas, some voters were not able to be identified using the devices, and were only identified using the physical voters register. For that reason, the figures that you see may not be an indication of the final figures. Allow me now to invite the Director of ICT to give us a brief on the dashboard so that we all understand how to use the figures and just to get a grasp. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chairperson, and the media crew are gathered here. So basically, my responsibility is to explain what we're able to see in front of you so that we all have one understanding. So basically, as the Chairperson has made a mention, this is the result of the investment that the Commission has done as regards the investment in the technology. So basically, what we are able to see here, we are talking of a voter turnout of 60.47%. So basically, what we are saying is that is a percentage of those that we identified using the devices that we deployed across the country. So that 4.3 million is those that we have managed to identify electronically, with either using the fingerprints or using the national ID. And the turnout by gender, we can see that female is 56.15% and male is 42.85%. So we are able to gather this data on the basis of putting the fingerprint. Remember, we gathered all this information when we are doing the voter registration. And on turnout by location, so basically this is the spread of turnout as identified by the devices using your fingerprints and the national IDs. So this is what we have managed to gather electronically, okay? But you should expect more because we are very much aware that some centers where devices did not report. There are some centers where in the process the device somewhere developed some problems. There are some centers where others that have voted by using the manual system. Remember, the Commission has been emphatic to say we'll use the hybrid, that's electronic and manual. Where electronic failed, manual came into play. So what we are getting here is where the system has managed to work properly and efficiently. On the issues of Lilongwe City, can you come down a bit? On the Lilongwe City, that's not the true reflection, because we have noted there is some configuration. We noted this yesterday when we were doing the configuration and the deployment, the same with the Kasungu. So I think after the consolidation, once we retrieve the devices, all these will be able to go up. Now, go up a bit. Now we are saying verifications by fingerprints. So out of 4.3, 85.97%, these are the ones that have managed to verify using the fingerprints. And we are saying 1.32%. So there are some other situations where identification or verification of the voter could not be done by fingerprint due to other reasons. Either the fingerprints have been damaged. So the system had another mechanism where you could take the picture of the voter and the system could compare that picture with the existing image that we took during the voter registration. If the two matches, That was another method to identify or verify the voter. Biometric pass, there are some situations where both methods failed. Fingerprints could not be laid, face could not be matched, but the person has been identified probably by scanning the database using the national ID or by scanning the VRC. So if those two methods have failed, but the person is available in our database, we had a mechanism where we provided the presiding officers with a special code, which they are punching in the device to bypass these two methods. So by using that biometric bypass method, we are able to verify 12.71%. So we are saying 65.14% that we have done the search using the biometrics, fingerprints, or the face, and then we are saying 34.86% where we searched using the national ID number. Go down. So our verification by age, that's the distribution, and also turnout by gender, by age, that's also the distribution. Go up. Yeah, so we had cases of accreditations. So basically what we're saying here is there are those which commissioner authorized them to vote elsewhere. So we had cases where others went to places as officials, political party representatives. So what we did as commission basically is to keep electronic record of these people who have gone to a polling station and they're voting there, but their records are not available at that polling center. Remember, the manual process basically is once the commission has given authority to vote elsewhere, that form has to be given to the presiding officer. And the presiding officer keeps manual record of that process or documentation to make sure that at the end of the exercise, if need be, you have to compare, for example, the number of voters exceeds the number of registered voters as at that particular center. So what the commission decided basically was we should also keep electronic record of such people who have come to vote at that particular center. So basically this was done for officials, presiding officers, security agencies, political party representatives that have been deployed in centers where they did not register. So that's the total. What we recorded is 52,577. So out of that, 29.25 verified. And on the redirected, what it means basically is there are people who came to a long polling station. They could, for example, stand on the line of polling station 1. They get identified.
Chairperson, ndina Wycliffe Nchilakoma waku Nation Publications. Timafunso tingapo loyamba lokhudzana ndi polling station imene inasokonekera ku Mkolokoti. Munayimitsa chisankho kaye ndemati anthu anawuzidwa kuti avotebe mpaka na 8 o'clock. Tukamba za polling station yokhayo kapena ndi whole polling center. Chachiwiri munanena kuti anaotcha mapepala ena. Tinali kale ndi ena olowa m'malo mwa amene anaotchedwawo kapena zinakhala bwanji. Funso lina ndila kusiyana kwa statistics amene akubwera apa biometric device ndi amene mukuti sitinakhale nawo oyuza manual. Tikuyembekeza kuti ndachita reconcile zimene zizi lead. lomaliza lenileni tokuti amalawi ayembekezere kuyamba kumva zotsatira za chisankhochi kuchokera kwa inu liti zikolo.
Chair, it seems those are the only questions, so I would request you give them the response and immediately after that you give the concluding remarks. Thank you.
Zikomo kwambiri Njira Goma from Nation. Tinaimitsa polling pa center yonse chifukwa chokuti nangasi zimachitika ponsepwe tisizikanatheka kuti tingoyimitsa pa polling station number 3. Ma ballot paper analipo okwanira, just to provide clarity, amene anaonongedwa analipo 66 okha. Tikamakhonza ma ballot paper timawerengetsera chiwerengero cha anthu amene analembetsa pamalo pamenepo ndi timaonjezeraponso markup ya 3% kuti in the event patakhala ma eventualities ena ndi ena tikhalebe kuti tidakali ndi ma ballot paper okwanira. Pachifukwa chimenechi ma ballot paper awo analipo ndithu, nkuona tinalemba mtima kuti tikhoza kungopanga chiganizo kuti titsegulenso chifukwa ma materials onse analipo. Reconciliation ndi pemphe kuti ya DICT ayankhe pokhala zachokera ku presentation yawo. Ma results Sangwana anapereka instruction kuti mafunso akhale restricted to zimene tinafotokoza apa, komabe ndi kuyankhani funso linafunsidwanso masana tinafotokoza kuti we have time limitations within the framework of the law, 8 days for the presidential, 14 parliamentary and 21 for the local government. Our efforts ndio kuti ma results onse tikwaniritse mu nthawi imeneyi. Pakadali pano sindingathe kukuwuzani kuti tiyembekezere tsiku lakuti. I don't want to raise expectations zimene mwina sitingafikire kapena tikhala kuti taphonyetsa. Ndiye pakadali pano mutilole kuti tinene kuti we are working within the legal framework. Koma chifukwa choti tizikhala tikupereka ma update pafupi ndiye kuti tikhala tikumadziwitsana kuti apa tikuyenda chonchi zili motere, and we know kuti aliyense tsopano poti kuvota kwachitika tikuyang'anano kuti ma results akhala motani, and ife we are putting every effort kuti ma results iwo apangidwe manage mu nthawi yoyenerera kuti amalawinso adziwe kuti mavota awo ayenda motani.
Ziko mkwambiri. I think first of all, you are told conversation about biometric voter verification against the manual as in
Yeah, monanena kuti the figures that were or have been shown per dashboard were based on zimene zachitika through biometric devices. Komano pali chiyembekezo choti zikhoza kukwera chifukwa ma figures amene adzera kumanyo. Then manena kuti mwina zimene zizi nthawi zanji kuti mwina make mungathe kutionetsano the actual statistics, the final ones.
Okay, so basically I think these are two systems. On the biometric, the figures will go up after we have done the final reconciliation devices, because we are mindful for some other devices whereby the pause or during the process switched off due probably to power. Again, the others that after we have brought them back into our warehouse, we'll do the consolidation to make sure that every device collected its data. So that I can't tell to say how long will it take, because as it is now, they are in the field. And for them to get to warehouse, they have to come as what it means is from the stations, they'll come out to the constituency, then they'll come to council, then they'll come to National Tally Center. It is at that point where we have gathered all the devices to do the consolidation. So on the biometric, that's the concession that we will do. Now on the figures about manual specifically, this could specifically align probably with the figures on vote counting. Because what is here, like for example, we have identified 4.3 million, for example. But what I'm saying is there are other voters that haven't verified using the biometric. So that the concession then will come a long way as the figures will be coming up after counting, then it goes up at consultation center where electronic capturing will happen, then it goes up to council, then it goes up to National Tally Center. So at the point that we have done all that consolidation of the manual figures, then it's when now we can compare the two. So from the look of the process, it will take us some time. Probably this could be towards the end of the management process of the results. Thank you.
zikomo kwambiri Sangwani, ndiloleni ndikuthokozeni nonse chifukwa cha kufika komanso kumvetsera kwanu pamene tinabweretsa mauthenga awa. Tibweranso usiku uno kudzapereka update ina. Sangwani will advise on the actual time koma ndi madzulo omwe ano. Zikomo kwambiri nonse, Ambuye akudalitseni.
Thank you so much. We'll allow the chair.